We'll be right back.
Now on NBC 15 Today.
Tornado touchdown in Mississippi.
Oh, just ripped the roof off!
The trail of destruction stretching from the Gulf Coast across the U.S.
Plus, rising floodwaters.
Went from nothing to 4 or 5 foot deep.
A large-scale water rescue after dozens were stranded. The precious items they were forced to leave behind.
From water to ice, a brutal blizzard batters the Midwest. Drastic steps states are taking to prevent crashes on the roads.
And the West is burning. A state of emergency declared in dozens of Oklahoma counties. The weather conditions fueling the flames.
What a crazy weekend it has been, and we're getting off to a frigid start on this Monday morning. Kelly Foster's with us in the Weather Center to tell us what we can expect after this wild weekend. Kelly.
That's right, Jarwin. We have gone from wicked to wonderful on this Monday. We're off to a magnificent start. Still watching flood warnings for the Tombigbee River, the Leaf River, and the Chickasahee. And that's because we had a swath of flooding rains from about 9 inches of rain in Washington and Clark County all the way back into George County, Mississippi, averaging around 7. So the floodwaters continue to rise. They won't crest until late week. High pressure building in, pushing those clouds out, knocking our temperatures down. 49 degrees at 7 a.m., 64 at lunch, and 70 degrees will be the high today. We're still going to be about 7 degrees below seasonal. 69 as we head towards your drive at 5. And the beach cam this morning, we are looking at a bright sky. In fact, here's a look at the forecast for today. 70 degrees. It's going to be clear and cold this morning, but a mild Monday afternoon. As far as traffic is concerned, we've not seen any accidents out there this morning. Here's a look east and west over the Bayway, and you can see the waters are nice and calm. We're not looking at any wind action as you make your drive this morning.
A harrowing rescue after a line of severe storms, rising floodwaters engulfed a Gulf Coast campground, stranding nearly 100 people.
They all got out safely, but now new concerns as nearby rivers continue to rise. NBC 15's Zora Asbury joins us live now from George County, Mississippi. And Zora, you're at the campground site. What does it look like there this morning?
Well, Kelly, Darwin, that's right. I'm at the Red Creek campground here, and as you guys can see, there's floodwater here that's just misting with fog this morning as it's pretty cold out here. But this is what campground people that were here enjoying this Mudbug Festival had to go through. And actually, we looked and we cannot see exactly how far this floodwater goes. So you can only imagine what they had to go through. Now, we spoke with some people who are actually stuck here. One person, his name is Leonardo Oliveiras, and his friends, they say that they're safe, but they have thousands of dollars that are worth of property damage here at this campground, and several people were stranded here. Now, they were all here for a large event. It's called the Mudbug Bash over the weekend. They say the campground gave event goers no warning that they were in danger despite multiple flood and weather warnings from emergency officials.
Buzz camper, 3 trucks, and 3 trailers actually, like tall haulers, and actually a van, and actually we have 4 trucks. Couple stuff back there though. You know, I mean, a little upset with the park. You know, I mean, they should have either call off the event or let people know the risk. But right now, nothing we can do. You know, I mean, it's too deep to try to get our trucks back this way. We managed to bring the razors out and, you know, I mean, the 4-wheelers and stuff, but we, you know, I mean, the trucks and the campers, and nothing we can do about it other than just hope that everything goes well and the water just stop rising.
Now, he wasn't lying when he said the water was too deep. As I'm standing here in this water, it's going halfway up my boots, and I'm not even more than 10 feet in where the floodwater starts. They say that they received about 9 inches of floodwater. So very scary moments for those campgoers during that Mudbug parade. But thank goodness all of them are safe and there were no injuries reported. I'm going to continue to bring you guys more on this story later in the show. Reporting live here in George County, Mississippi, Zora Asbury, NBC 15 News.
All right, Zora, across the border in Alabama, rising waters in Clark County, Alabama, prompted more than a dozen rescues there over the weekend. Now residents and business owners are assessing the damage.
The creek's done it a lot, but it's never done it this bad.
Water from Battle Creek rose almost to the doorknob of the Fulton Volunteer Fire Department Saturday night.
Well, it's about 8th time we done got water in the station, and you know, this time the good Lord's telling us it's time to move somewhere else. So we're going to take this opportunity.
Emergency officials initially only anticipated several inches of rain, but some areas saw as much as 10, prompting a boil water advisory in Clark County. Fortunately, the water receded as fast as it flooded. Cleanup expected to continue today.
From rising waters to raging winds and possible tornadoes caught on cam in Mississippi, tearing through homes and a Gulf Coast marina. Incredible video out of Meridian, Mississippi. A terrified family witnesses a powerful tornado shredding trees and ripping the roof off their neighbor's home. The National Weather Service says the tornado touched down with max winds of 115 miles per hour, blowing the roof off this apartment building, knocking out power and uprooting trees. At least 2 middle schools in the area were also damaged and 1 home caught fire. A police chief says at least 1 person is hurt, but there's no word on the extent of their injuries. Another possible tornado hit just west of Mobile, spinning through a marina. Take a look.
Oh, just rip the roof off! Oh, wow.
I don't think we're gonna go through it.
No, definitely don't want to go through that. Oh my gosh.
We're like feet from this thing. Oh, look at the tint.
Oh, I don't know if I like this.
Dude, what are you doing, dude? No, we're good, we're good, we're good. See, it's not even knocking over trees. It's just all right.
Oh my god.
Wow, look at all the
Look at the
vortices.
tentacles.
The birds are actually caught in it.
The seagulls were caught in it. That happened in Harrison County, Mississippi, right along Highway 90 in Long Beach. That is 2 counties away. And in Jackson County, Mississippi, 1 county away, high winds damaged several businesses near Ocean Springs. At CJ's restaurant, part of the roof just ripped off, leaving a wet mess behind, you see there. The same thing at Dis-and-Dat Resale. Much of the roof now gone with the sky above visible. And despite all this damage, many say they feel very lucky.
This is normally where I sit, and if I'd have been here last night when this happened, it'd probably been a different story for us. But, you know, it's bad. Building's not structurally sound, looks to me like on this side. And we got a lot of cleanup to do.
Wow. and we've got to do some cleanup now. So, but it's just amazing that it happened, but we're all happy that we're okay.
Most store owners in the strip mall say they hope to be back in operation within a couple of days.
Let's bring it home to Mobile. Several businesses along Airport Boulevard seeing damage from Saturday night's storm. A brick facade collapsed at Burlington Coat Factory, and all of that debris fell in the parking lot. Some of it will still be visible today. Crews are around the city working right now to clean up after the storm. And just across I-65, Babies R Us, they also saw damage from the storms, and the nearby Lazy Boy shop saw roof damage there as well. Pinned by a fallen tree, Jacksonville, Florida fire and rescue crews had to help free a woman after a tree fell on her home during that same storm system, but it was Sunday. Neighbors say the woman was napping in her bedroom when the tree crashed through the roof, pinning her between the bed and the wall. Her husband and daughter were in the living room nearby and about to go into the bedroom when the tree fell. The woman was freed and taken to a nearby hospital where her condition right now is unknown. As those storms inched east, a deadly tornado spawned in Greensboro, North Carolina. That's where one woman caught the scary spectacle on video.
Do you see it? Oh my God!
Jennifer Marquez recorded this footage as she and her family were driving along Highway 29 in Greensboro. And this morning, we now know 1 person was killed in North Carolina by that storm. Tornadoes were also confirmed in Danville and Chatham, North Carolina. The severe weather knocked down trees and blew off rooftops and even blew one house completely off its foundations.
And a blizzard batters the northern states. In Duluth, Minnesota, winds blew snow over 35 miles an hour. People had to get out their shovels and snow blowers more than 2 weeks into spring, and parts of Minnesota hit a record for snowfall in the month of April with inches in the teens as far as that snowpack. More snow expected to fall today in several parts of Minnesota. The weather's wreaked havoc on local streets and highways with more than 400 accidents reported over the weekend. And now state officials are just closing many of the major highways in an effort to keep people home.
From ice to fire, NBC's Maya Rodriguez reports on that wildfire that continues to spread across the state of Oklahoma that has burned more than 300,000 acres so far.
Western Oklahoma is on fire. A state of emergency declared in more than 50 counties. The smoky smell detected in neighboring states. High temperatures, gusting winds, and low humidity, creating perfect conditions for wildfires. Authorities say flames have injured 7 and killed 2, including a 61-year-old man trying to fight the fire and a woman found in her burned-out vehicle.
The other people that were there evacuated well before the fire, but she was still there.
Firefighters hope cooler temperatures would help contain the fires.
The wind's horrible. The only thing that we've had is cooler temperatures, and that hasn't affected the fire conditions at all.
The reprieve will be short-lived. Temperatures are forecast to soar into the 90s this week, potentially whipping up Oklahoma's already deadly wildfire season. Maya Rodriguez, NBC News.
You can find these stories and more weather-related news. It's on our website right now at mynbc15.com.
It is 6:11 on this Monday morning. Here's a look at the poolcast. Didn't get in a lot of pool time on Saturday, that's for sure, where we had that big severe weather threat. And today it's going to be absolutely picture perfect. If you don't have work, don't have school, you know, it's spring break still for some schools across the Gulf Coast. And mid-morning we're going to be at 55, 1 o'clock 64, and warming to 70 by the afternoon. So it's going to be a comfy, cozy day. Later in the day, kind of a chilly start. We're averaging around 7 degrees below seasonal. A magnificent Monday. Warmer though by Wednesday. We're going to move above seasonal as we head towards the middle of the week, and then storms set to roll again next weekend. We'll continue to fine-tune the forecast for you, but high pressure south of Houston is going to continue to truck its way into our area, sliding east by Tuesday. We'll be on the backside of it, so we're warming up for the second day of the work week, and watching that front. Going to take its sweet time getting here, and that could help fire up some storms as we take it into the second half of the weekend. Your time right now, 6:12. We're going to go ahead and talk more about that 7-day forecast coming up a little bit later in the show.
Cohen in court. President Trump's personal attorney testifying in front of a judge today. The special guest planning to make an appearance coming up. New this morning, R. Lee Ermey, a former Marine who made a career in Hollywood playing hard-nosed military men like Gunnery Sergeant Hartman in Full Metal Jacket, he has died. Ermey's longtime manager says he died Sunday from pneumonia-related complications at the age of 74. The Kansas native was nominated for a Golden Globe Award for his performance in Full Metal Jacket. And Ermey served 11 years actually in the Marine Corps, spent 14 months in Vietnam and then in Okinawa, Japan. And that is where he became a staff sergeant.
Former First Lady Barbara Bush in failing health. The 92-year-old matriarch of the Bush family has been in and out of the hospital several times over the last year. She's battling chronic obstructive pulmonary disease and congestive heart failure. CNN reports Mrs. Bush does not want to go back to the hospital, so she's now being cared for at her home in Houston. She's been married to former President George Herbert Walker Bush for 73 years now.
The 122nd Boston Marathon takes place today, 5 years after bombs were set off at the finish line of that race.
People are leaving bundles of flowers, handwritten notes, and candles at 2 locations of the bomb blast. 30,000 people expected to come out and witness the 26.2-mile race. The weather forecast is cold, rainy, windy, and hopefully we'll see conditions improve as that race goes on. It kicks off at 7:40 this morning.
President Trump's personal attorney is testifying in federal court today. Michael Cohen has been under criminal investigation for months, with federal prosecutors zeroing in on his personal business dealings, explaining last week's dramatic FBI raid at Cohen's office. But it's still unclear what laws they believe Cohen has broken. Prosecutors state the crimes being investigated involve acts of concealment. Cohen is asking a federal judge to block the FBI from reviewing seized records that date back years, some related to hush money payments to two women, a porn star and a playmate, who claimed they had an affair with Mr. Trump.
I think there's no question that there's documentation in those records concerning the negotiation with my client.
His client, porn star Stormy Daniels, is expected to be in the courtroom today watching Cohen's testimony.
NBC 15 weather with meteorologist Kelly Foster.
6:17, time to rise and shine. This is going to be a beautiful day along the Gulf Coast, and boy, do we deserve it. We had a bad weekend weather-wise on Saturday with those violent thunderstorms erupting along the Gulf Coast, unleashing copious amounts of moisture and heavy rain. In fact, parts of Clark and Monroe County, Clark County and Washington County picking up over 9 inches of rain and well over half a foot in parts of Greene and George. So still flood warnings in place for the Tombigbee River, the Leaf River and the Chickasawhay River. And we're not going to see a lot of these rivers crest until Thursday or Friday. Take a look. High pressure continues to ridge into the area, suppressing cloud development. So it's pushing the clouds out, keeping the rain out. We've got a northwest wind thanks to that area of high pressure. So at 8 o'clock this morning, we're going to be at 49, 64 at lunch, topping out at 70 by the heart of the afternoon at 3, and by 5 o'clock, 69. So this northwest wind is going to continue across the area and will be milder by the afternoon. We talked about that. We'll hit 70. Golden sunshine. Skies are going to be bright and blue, but we're still going to average about 7 degrees below seasonal. Now, as far as the bus stop forecast, bundle up the kiddos with jackets or a sweater this morning, short sleeves underneath. By lunchtime, 62 for the half-dayers, and when the bus drops them off in the neighborhood at 3 p.m., it's going to be right at 70 degrees. So you can see the sunshine will help warm things up at the surface. And we're going to go above seasonal as we head towards Wednesday, and then we're going to have storms moving in as we take you into next weekend. But until then, a 0% chance of rain until about Sunday. So keep that in mind. High pressure remains in charge south of Houston, continuing to migrate towards the east, and then we're going to have another front marching in, this time for the second half of the weekend. Plenty of time to track it. We will keep you up to date if we see some of these spring storms set to turn strong for the second half of the weekend. So stay with us. That is a look at your forecast. And then as we head on into the later part of the work week, we're going to continue to have bright skies. Loving this viewer photo. Tim Ard snapped that, sending that in. That was from Friday the 13th. I guess kind of a premonition there that we're going to have a spooky weekend this past weekend, but a really splendid upcoming work week. Wall-to-wall sunshine through Friday, and again storms by Sunday. Traffic-wise, looking terrific. Notice in and out of the George Wallace, no delays this morning. Going to be an easy commute. You will need the sunglasses. I-10 at the Daphne exit over the Bayway, nice and quiet. And our final stop, I-10 at DIP, no accidents.
All right, thank you, Kelly. Do it yourself. The benefits of crafting with your kids coming up in this morning's Family 411.
Families looking to spend more quality time together or trying something new, do-it-yourself art projects.
We sent Family 411's Luann Stoya out to find out how those DIY projects encourage creative expression and exploration for children and their grown-ups.
Getting in touch with their creative sides, these families are picking up some tools and working on getting ordinary boards prepared to become keepsakes.
The tools can be intimidating, but when we start working with them, you can sense their relief as the workshop is progressing.
We're going to rub it in until you can't see any more of the whitewood.
Many families tell us they come back with friends and relatives. People young and old like to try something new, like the board and brush.
The kids have a chance to kind of get away from the TVs and the electronics and just kind of
use some creative juices, make something that's really cool for their bedroom or the house.
You can just help yourself to the paint and bring it back to your table.
You ready to do this?
Families say it's helpful to have the advice of instructors.
When you're making your board and you don't know what to do, go ask someone. Don't try and do it by yourself.
This is the fun part.
Jason is a teacher and lacrosse coach. He tells us working with family on an art project is like a team sport.
You're kind of looking out for each other. You're encouraging to try something new, whether it's a different color combo or, you know, how to use a tool even. He's got a razor blade right now, so I'm trying to keep an eye on it.
It looks good.
The artists are making memories and in the end have a custom sign they're proud to hang in their home for years to come.
People get to use their hands, their minds, and really put a piece together, and they walk out with just a great sense of confidence and achievement.
I'm Luann Stoya, NBC 15 News.
You can jumpstart family creativity at home by researching projects on YouTube and other sites. I know a lot of folks that do this. Just try taking used furniture or electronics and repurpose them. I like the glue gun, but you can get burned using that. Got to be careful.
Yeah. Last minute filing, you get burned here too. The deadline to file your tax returns is tomorrow. The apps you can use to turn yours in on time, but be aware the vulnerabilities of using that mobile home device could leave you open to those dreaded hackers.
Now on NBC 15 Today.
A trail of destruction. That is incredible video. A terrified family witnessing a powerful tornado shredding trees, even ripping the roof off a neighbor's home.
And another possible tornado hit just west of Mobile, spinning through a marina. One of several twisters reported along the Gulf Coast. The damage stretching from our coast across the U.S.
What a wicked weekend of weather. It was something else this weekend, and now it is literally something else. Kelly Foster's at the weather wall this morning to describe a chilly start to your week.
That's right, Darwin. We have gone from wicked weather to wonderful weather along the Gulf Coast, and boy, Mother Nature deserves to give us this gift. You know, it's 60% of the country impacted by that system as it raked across the U.S. last week. But this morning, we are waking up with flood warnings for the Tombigbee River, the Leaf River, and the Chickasahee River. This is going to be in effect really throughout much of the week. You can see that most of these rivers will not crest until Thursday or Friday. So these rivers are continuing to rise. And of course, we picked up over a half a foot of rain in Georgia and Greene County, Mississippi, more than 9 inches for Washington and Clark. High pressure continues to rule the roost, suppressing cloud development for now. 47 at 8, 62 at noon. High today, 70 degrees. We're going to talk about a storm threat coming this weekend a little bit later in the show. There's traffic. Looks like it is going to be an easy drive for you. Well deserved. Don't forget the sunglasses. There's a look at I-10 at DIP, looking delightful this morning.
A harrowing rescue after a line of severe storms, rising floodwaters engulfed a Gulf Coast campground, stranding nearly 100 people.
They all got out safely, but now new concerns this morning as nearby rivers continue to rise. NBC 15's Zora Asbury joins us live from George County, right next door. And Zora, how does the campground look this morning?
Well, Darwin, Kelly, I'm live here at the Red Creek Off-Road Campground, where you guys can see behind me, I'm going to kind of show you a better look, that there is floodwater all the way up to this point. Now, this is right by the beginning of the entrance, and as you guys can see, it's pretty deep. They received about 9 inches of rain. This floodwater right here is exactly what campgoers had to go through to be rescued. About 100 of them had to come through this water. Now, we spoke with some people who are actually stuck out here. One of those people was Leonardo Olivieras. Him and his friends traveled from New Orleans to Mississippi to attend this past weekend's mud bug bash at this campground, but instead they found themselves stranded in these rising floodwaters. Now they are safe, but they still had to escape that. Now we had thousands of dollars worth of damage here at this campground, including some of the work vehicles, and also waters are still rising this morning. Officials say it could be a while before they can get them back.
I just wish, people would come through and, let's give us a little support, tell us what's going to happen, because right now, even all the police that was sitting here, they all left. So right now we have no information, All we heard is the water's gonna rise and y'all stuff might be here for 2 weeks. And most of the trucks that sit in there right now is most of our work vehicles as well. So it's a sad situation, it's bad.
Now, as I mentioned to you guys, over 9 inches of rain is what they saw out here in George County, Mississippi. Very scary moments for those nearly 100 people that had to be rescued from these waters. Thank goodness there were no injuries and everyone was safe. But we're going to learn more as we stick out here in George County, Mississippi. Reporting live here at this campground, Zora Asbury, NBC 15 News.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you, Zora. A boil water advisory in effect right now in Clark County, Alabama, after as much as 10 inches of rain inundated the area, causing widespread flooding. Emergency officials initially only anticipated several inches of rain, but some areas saw close to 10 inches. Now, fortunately, the water receded as fast as it flooded. Cleanup expected to continue today.
From rising waters to raging winds and possible tornadoes caught on camera in Mississippi, tearing through homes and a Gulf Coast marina. Incredible video out of Meridian. A terrified family witnessing a powerful tornado shredding trees and ripping the roof off their neighbor's home. And then the National Weather Service says it was a tornado that touched down with maximum winds of 115 miles per hour, blowing the roof off this apartment building in Meridian, knocking out powers and uprooting trees there in Mississippi. At least 2 middle schools in the area damaged and 1 home caught fire. A police chief says at least 1 person is hurt. No word on the extent of those injuries right now. Another possible tornado hit just west of Mobile, spinning through a marina in Mississippi. Take a look at this.
Oh, just ripped the roof off. Oh, wow.
I don't think we're going to go through it.
No, definitely don't want to go through that. Oh my gosh.
We're like feet from this thing. Oh, look at the tint.
Oh, I don't know if I like this.
Dude, what are you doing, dude? No, we're good, we're good, we're good. See, it's not even knocking over trees. It's just all right.
Oh my god.
Wow, look at all the
Look at the
vortices.
tentacles.
The birds are actually caught in it.
They are fascinated, but that is dangerous. This video was taken in Long Beach, Mississippi, very close to Mobile. High-speed winds damaged several businesses near Ocean Springs, Mississippi. At CJ's restaurant, part of the roof was ripped off, leaving this wet mess behind. The same scene at the Dissendat resale shop. Now, much of the roof there is gone. With the sky, you can plainly see it through that opening there. In spite of all this damage, many say they feel very lucky.
This is normally where I sit, and if I'd have been here last night when this happened, it'd probably been a different story for us. But you know, it's bad. Building's not structurally sound, looks to me like on this side, and we got a lot of cleanup to do.
Wow. and we've got to do some cleanup now. So, but it's just amazing that it happened. But we're all happy that we're okay.
Most store owners in that strip mall say they hope to be back in operation within a couple of days.
It was supposed to happen Saturday, but a concert featuring classic rock acts will happen tonight at the Wharf Amphitheater. The doubleheader with Styx and REO Speedwagon was set for Saturday night, but those violent storms had to delay that concert. Ironically, one of REO Speedwagon's biggest hits is Riding the Storm Out. Be sure to download our NBC 15 weather app on your smartphone for weather alerts at your fingertips. You can also stay up to date on the newest weather information on our website, mynbc15.com, and social media pages at mynbc15.
We have some breaking news coming into our newsroom right now. We want to tell you about 7 inmates are dead, at least 17 others injured after hours of fighting inside a maximum security prison. This is in central South Carolina. That deadly fight broke out at Lee Correctional Institution in Columbia, South Carolina, and it happened around 7 p.m. last night. It ended just a few short hours ago. No officers were injured. The maximum security facility houses about 1,500 inmates, some of South Carolina's most violent and longest serving offenders. Once again, 7 inmates dead this morning. 2 officers stabbed in a fight back in 2015. 1 inmate actually killed another in February, so they've been having some problems there. Tomorrow is the deadline for you to get your taxes in, so you should do that now. As April began, the IRS was still waiting for more than 59 million of you to finish your returns. Procrastinators may consider filing on their phone to save time. You might be one of them. Well, most of the major tax software companies do offer mobile filing, and the IRS even has an app. But if you do choose to use your phone, financial experts warn that could create data vulnerabilities.
Most of the apps that allow you to do your taxes on the phone require you to take a picture of your W-2. But that's actual really sensitive data that's sitting out there that can easily be stolen.
After uploading your tax information, your documents, many people forget to delete the photos and they leave them sitting in the phone storage, possibly in the cloud, and that is an invitation to get hacked. So, if your only option is to do your return on your phone, experts suggest not using a public Wi-Fi network.
Tomorrow, a local teen gunned down at a party will be laid to rest. Anissa Baker was one of 5 teens shot at the Grand Hall on Halls Mill Road Easter night. She died last week, but her family and friends continue to mourn. This as her killer remains on the run.
This was uncalled for. This did not have to happen. And I'm asking that if you're out here tonight and you hear me and you know something, I'm asking that you will speak up. Help me bring some level of justice to this family.
Anissa's funeral is set to start at 11 a.m. at Little Welcome Baptist Church tomorrow.
It is 6:39. Glad you're waking up with us on NBC 15 today. If you are off on vacation this week, wonderful weather. Mid-morning 55, 1 o'clock 64, and by 4 o'clock you're going to be sitting in the 70s by the pool. It's going to be beautiful. You will need the sunglasses, the sunscreen. A little chilly early on, but really a magnificent Monday after a messy weekend with strong storms. Warmer by Wednesday, and then our next storm system is going to begin to slam the Gulf Coast as we head into Sunday. We're going to continue to fine-tune the forecast. High pressure continues to build in from the east. It's going to bring with it a 0% chance of rain in between now and Friday. And then we're going to watch the storm system drape from Little Rock all the way back to Dallas on Wednesday begin to get its act together as it begins to march in our general direction, impacting us by Sunday. Now, as we head towards 3 o'clock this afternoon, notice this northwest wind flow continues across the area. It's going to keep our humidity levels down by Tuesday evening, becoming more onshore, and that's going to help push our temperatures up. So today we're averaging about 7 degrees below seasonal. As we head on into Wednesday, we are going to be back in the saddle for where we should be this time of year. Love our viewer photos. Want to thank Richard Reckert for sending this in. Little volleyball there on the Fairhope Beach at sundown. If you want to get in some fishing today on this Monday, your marine forecast in our bay, 1 to 2 feet. Offshore, we're averaging around 4 to 6 feet. And keep in mind, at the beach, we do have a moderate threat of rip currents. It is 6:40, and we're going to have more on your 7-day coming up.
Bombshell interview inside James Comey's tell-all interview with ABC News.
Calls for justice, the unusual arrest made in a Philadelphia Starbucks that's prompting thousands of people to protest and boycott the coffee chain. Ex-FBI Director James Comey says in an ABC News interview that there's certainly some evidence of obstruction by President Trump.
Was President Trump obstructing justice?
Possibly. I mean, it's certainly some evidence of obstruction of justice.
What will it mean if President Trump tries to fire Robert Mueller?
It would, I hope, set off alarm bells that this is his most serious attack yet on the rule of law.
In this ABC News interview, Comey insists President Trump demanded loyalty and pressured him to stop investigating former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn. President Trump denies those allegations and tweeted, "Slippery James Comey will go down as the worst FBI director in history."
Trump administration plans to impose new sanctions on Russia today for supporting the Assad regime and its use of chemical weapons in Syria. The smoke is clear from Friday's U.S.-led airstrikes, but the impact clear in satellite images released this week. You can see this chemical research center destroyed by 76 missiles, but Syria denies it produced or used poison gas. But a defector from Syria's chemical program says there are poison stocks in scattered warehouses, and now the U.S. plans to punish Russian companies for it.
You will see that Russian sanctions will be coming down. Secretary Mnuchin will be announcing those on Monday.
Russian troops are now in control of the suburb where last week's gas attacks killed dozens of people. The chemical inspectors who will investigate that attack are now in Syria.
Now to controversy and debate. This over a cell phone video of two African-American men taken out of a Philadelphia Starbucks in handcuffs.
Police say they were accused of trespassing, but the mayor is calling it racial discrimination. NBC's Morgan Radford has more on the story.
No longer, no further. Protesters calling for justice after the arrests of two black men at this Philadelphia Starbucks on Thursday.
What did they do?
This video, captured by a witness's cell phone, shows police talking and later handcuffing the men while they were waiting for a friend. The men wanted to use the restroom, but the manager said that per store policy, they couldn't since they didn't buy anything. When they wouldn't leave, she called police.
A group of males refused to leave.
Some witnesses say the officers overreacted.
They were just sitting there quietly, sitting on their phones, like chatting, just like everyone else in Starbucks was.
Philadelphia's police commissioner says the officers didn't do anything wrong.
They followed policy. They did what they were supposed to do.
The men, who don't want to be identified by name, were held in custody for 8 hours before they were released. Prosecutors didn't file charges, but their defense lawyer says this wasn't about the law. It was about bias.
A lot of people are saying this issue is about race. Do you think this would have happened if your clients were not black?
I would love to hear the 911 call in this case, but what's the 911 call you're never going to hear? Hi, this is the Starbucks at 18th and Spruce. There are two white women sitting in here. One of them asked to use the bathroom and she didn't order a coffee. Come quick.
Starbucks tonight in damage control.
What we need to do as leaders, we own this situation. We are responsible for this situation, and we'll take accountability for making the necessary changes.
Meanwhile, video of the arrest has gone viral, many on social media calling it a clear-cut case of racism.
We should not be going through this.
One protester say went too far.
NBC 15 weather with meteorologist Kelly Foster.
It is 6:48, time to rise and shine. Take a look at that beautiful sunshine. You can see those sun rays, the sun glistening there off the waves as they crash into the water's edge. We're so glad that you're waking up with us this morning on NBC 15 today. Glad I've got some good news for now. You know, we had that wicked weather over the weekend. We've gone from wicked to wonderful along the Gulf Coast. We're going to have a nice stretch of easy days, but you know what? Another storm threat coming in by the upcoming weekend. I'm going to have more on that coming up. But first, we still have flood warnings in place this morning, talking about for the Tombigbee River, the Leaf River, the Chickasawhay River, and those floodwaters continue to rise after we got those drenching downpours this past weekend. In fact, those rivers will not crest until Thursday or Friday. So keep that in mind. Places Washington County, Clark County, over 9 inches of rain, approaching 10 inches near Clark County, and in Greene County, Mississippi, George County, they were over half a foot. High pressure building in. Notice the clouds not in our area. High pressure suppresses cloud development, so we get clear, cool nights, bright, beautiful days. That's going to be the case today. Starting out at 47 at 8 o'clock, 62 at lunch, 70 degrees will be the magic number today. And you know what? We're actually going to be about 7 degrees below seasonal, all due to that northwest wind flow that's coming in at about 5 to 15. So golden sunshine today. And at the bus stop, the kids are going to need the sweaters and I would say some short sleeves underneath. For the kids that go half a day at lunch, pick up 62, and when the bus drops off, the full day students at 3 p.m. will have a temperature of 70, short sleeves then. But really a magnificent Monday. Warmer by Wednesday. We're going to go above seasonal by midweek, and storms are set to slam our area as we head into the second half of the weekend. High pressure south of Houston continues to ease its way eastward. It's going to give us in time a more return flow from the Gulf of Mexico. That's going to warm us up, and we'll be watching this front get its act together by midweek. A lot of time to track it. We will continue to do so. Until then, the weather is going to remain quiet. Notice cloud-free, rain-free, and this is a Friday the 13th shot of downtown Mobile. I want to thank Tim Ard for that. The marine forecast, we do have a small craft advisory in effect. Moderate threat of rip currents at the beach. There's your 7-day. And watching a 40% chance of rain Sunday. Beautiful sunshine, Rangeline Road, I-10. No delays there. And there's that sun glare I-10 at I-65. Don't forget the sunglasses. And our final stop where the Bayway meets the Causeway, looking beautiful over the bay. Well, coming up after the break, stories you need to know before you head out the door.
But first, here's a look at what's next on the Today Show.
Good morning. Coming up on Today, fired FBI Director James Comey escalating his war of words with President Trump, saying he is morally unfit for office. So how's that playing at the White House this morning? We'll be there live.
Also ahead, would you be able to tell if someone was posing as your Uber driver? An eye-opening Rawson reports in the wake of a new alert from police.
And then Natalie's going to be here with the highlights from Carrie Underwood's powerful return to the stage last night. And then what a treat. Nat is going to cook for us live, sharing one of her favorite family recipes. She's got a new cookbook.
She does.
It's out this week.
Nat Mo is home.
It is. It's called At Home with Natalie, the book.
All right, we'll see you guys a little later right here on Today.
Just a young girl with a quick fuse. I was uptight, wanna let loose. Take a number. I was lightning before the thunder. Thunder, thunder, thunder. Thunder, 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 feel the thunder, lightning and the thunder, feel the thunder.
Glad there's no lightning and thunder this morning. In this morning's News to Go, weekend storms stranded campers and damaged homes and businesses in coastal Alabama and in Mississippi.
Rivers north of our Gulf Coast are cresting this morning after high winds and heavy rain Saturday night. The nightmare isn't over for about 80 people who escaped flash flooding on Red Creek in George County, Mississippi, as Zora's been telling us about this morning. That's where a festival called Mudbug Bash was interrupted by rising water over the weekend. And they say the campground gave event goers no warning they were in danger in spite of multiple flood and weather warnings from emergency officials. Campers had to flee the festival's site where there was flash flooding, meaning forced to leave their vehicles and equipment behind. They hope to see what's left later today when that water recedes. George County EMA Director Nancy Smith estimates more than 9 inches of rain fell over the weekend, allowing only boats to reach that campground.
And this morning, several businesses along Airport Boulevard right here in Mobile saw damage from Saturday night storms. Powerful winds caused a brick facade to collapse at Burlington Coat Factory, filling the parking lot with debris. And just across I-65, Babies R Us also saw damage from those storms, as did the Lazy Boy store across the street. There's your 7-day forecast. 70 degrees the high today, and you know it is 0% chance of rain. Watching the storm system, though, for Sunday.
Francis Turner up in Chatham said they got 9.6 inches of rain.
Unbelievable.
Have a great day.